What up, world? It's your boss, Kamal Nuru, Zoe Mega Millions.
Wow.
The blade to your fade, the ends to your bends, and the cheers to your shears. You are now watching Barber World TV, the podcast. What's up, world? It's your boss, Kamal Nuru, Zoe Mega Millions, International Zoe. I'm here, the blade to your fade, the ends to your bends.
Yes, indeed.
And all that other good stuff. I'm with my brother in MC, my brother in barbering, Shabaam Sahdeeq. What's good, baby?
I'm here, man. We living, we doing it.
So, Shabaam, tell everybody where you from.
I'm from BK, you know what I mean? I lived in Jersey for a while, so I rep BK in Jersey, you know what I mean?
BK in Jersey.
Yeah.
So, you got two things. You know, we're going to start. What led you to the MC?
Well, you know, I've been doing that since a teenager, man. In the basements, you know what I mean? Messing around with break beats, freestyling, you know what I mean? Then it went to battling. It went to going to clubs, staying out all night. It went to Lyricist Lounge. It went to Blaze Battles. It went to Jack the Rapper, traveling to Jack the Rapper. You remember? Oh, yeah. How Can I Be Down? Miami with your shirt off, on a scooter, all that. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, those was them times right there, boy.
Yeah, so around what year did you start rapping, and then around what year did you actually get into it as a profession?
I started rapping like around 88. You know what I mean?
That was, oof.
Yeah, getting it together. 88, I started getting it together. You know what I mean? I was a young teenager getting it together. And then, you know, 9-6 is when I got like my first recording deal. Yeah.
And who was that with?
Well, I appeared on a jazz hip hop album called Broadway and 52nd that Chubb Rock put me on to, and I appeared on maybe like 4 or 5 songs. The name of the group was Us Three, and they were out of London. So I went over there to record with them, and we did maybe like 8 tracks, and like 4 of them ended up on the album. Now the first album was like it was a platinum album. It had like some diddy bop jazz thing, you know what I mean? So they wanted to come with something a little more harder for the second one, and we did Broadway and 52nd. So that was my first check. But at the same time, I had a deal with Rawkus for a solo deal. And that happened, you know, through me putting out different 12 inches independently. And I had another deal with a group called Polyrhythmatics that had me, Spinner, Apani B, Fly MC, and that came out on Nervous Records. So I had like 3 deals at the same time.
Oh, you a lucky cat.
They thought I was the golden child. They was like, yo, how you got 3 deals? You know what I mean? It just happened like that, yeah.
And with like Rawkus was an independent that they kind of made some noise. They had a nice little roster. Who else was on there? I remember like the poster they put out with all y'all on the poster. What was the lineup like?
That was the Stress magazine. It was me, Kweli, Mos, Company Flow. You know, a lot of people was messing around, about to sign with the label, and some of them did and some of them didn't. Already the Rugged Man. You know, I had the record with Eminem, so you know they was in talks with Eminem, but then Eminem wound up going with Interscope.
Right.
But yeah, it was
Did
a
Prez
few.
eventually get on that label?
No, but he worked. They worked with Talib and Mos Def close. Matter of fact, they were on the EP Mos and Kweli had for Amadou Diallo, the One for the Love. Yeah.
So what was the name of your album when it came out on Rawkus?
Well, I never had an album on Rawkus. Okay. I never had I had a stream of 12 inches.
And what those were? Give me an idea.
I had Arabian Nights and Side to Side was my first joint. 5 Star Generals and Sound Clash. 5 Star Generals was the joint with Eminem. You know, I had a single with High Tech. I had a single with Alchemist called Are You Ready? You know, I had a string of joints. I had a single with Alchemist called Concrete with Exhibit on it. And I was supposed to come out with an album called Scandalous, but, you know, we got into a little riff with the label, and I had my escape clause, and I pressed the escape button, boom, and I put my first album out with Raptivism Records. You know what I mean?
What was the name of that album?
Never Say Never.
Never Say Never. Why is it? It seems like the artists, when we're young, we're always happy to get in there and get a deal. We're ecstatic. But then when we learn the business, there always eventually becomes a rift between the artist and the label.
Well, I had a good lawyer, and my lawyer was like, he put a clause in there that said if they didn't put it out by a certain amount of time, you know what I'm saying, they got to give me 30 grand, and I got the escape hatch. I could release, yeah. But the thing is, I didn't get released with the masters. So all the joints I had, joints with Eminem and Exhibit and Lost Boys and Greg Nice, and I couldn't go nowhere with those.
Wow. What did they do with that music?
Some of it is still on archive. Like, I could bootleg it if I want, but I mean,
Yeah. Then somebody could bootleg it, not you.
Right. Exactly. I may not have the DAT tapes. I just, I haven't messed with it. I'm too concerned with putting out new stuff.
I can dig it.
I got people that be hitting me up. They want to put out a lot of the old stuff, but I'm like, man, forget that old stuff. But I appeared on Sound Bomber 1. I appeared on Sound Bomber 2. I appeared on Lyricist Lounge 1. I appeared on Pharoah Monch's first album on a Time It Says remix with Busta and Red and Meth and Lady Luck. I'm on the One for Love EP with Mos and Kweli and Common and De La Soul, G Rap, Rod Digger.
Yeah, you probably are underground to most people, but you work with everybody, seems like.
I work with a lot of people, man. A lot of people don't even know.
Yeah.
A lot of people,
A lot of dudes, bro.
Yes, and I've been on a lot of tours, and I'm still touring.
You got a show tonight, right?
Lyricist Lounge reunion.
Wow.
Yeah, Rod Digger.
Rod Digger.
Smith & Wesson hosting, Natural Elements, AL, Cellar Dwellers, you know what I mean? DV Elias Christ. Yeah.
That's dope. So let's talk about your barbering. Like, when did you discover like you had that skill, or when did you pick up the clippers?
Well, I always used to experiment on my brothers and my cousins. That's always start
at home.
Destroying their hairlines first. You know what I mean? And actually, I really got a love for it when I was in prison, actually, because I used to shape myself up with these bullshit beard clippers. I pushed the little metal thing up.
Right.
I'm going down on the dance floor, crispy. Everybody like, ooh, who cut your hair? I'm like, me. Niggas like, word, like, yo, you need to be in the barbershop. So I did the barber training program, but anytime you get in a fight or you get kicked out of dorm or whatever, or catch a tier 2 or whatever, that program, you don't go jump back into that program. Right. So I started the barber thing, but I didn't finish it. So when I came home, I went to Atlas Barber School, the OG barber school.
Yeah, Atlas has been closed for like 10 years now.
That's showing my age too. Like Atlas.
That's one of the original barber schools in New York.
Yo, crazy, right there in Astor, like in that area over there. Yeah.
Like 9th Street or something like that.
Yeah.
So you finished the program there.
I finished the program there.
And then what happened?
I was the straight levels.
So you came to me, right? You came to levels right after that.
Right after that.
What led you to levels? How'd you discover levels?
Like we was talking about True Mac and Jay Ronan. I was over there in that area.
Shout out to True Mac and Jay Ronan.
And then I happen to know you, so it was like, oh yeah, I know. Yeah, it was a good match.
Family.
Yeah, it was a good match.
And you stayed at levels for how long?
I stayed at levels for what, a year?
A year?
Yeah.
Oh, fly. So
I was coming
moved away from barbering for a while, or you still was barbering just other places?
I was barbering, man. I was barbering at some of the illest places on the planet. Barbershops with no heat, barbershops with no air conditioning, barbershops that They was trapping, selling keys out of barbershops on side streets in the back of a, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
supermarket, all kind of
I,
barbershops.
I tell people, when y'all start at levels, man, y'all a little bit
I was
spoiled.
spoiled. I was spoiled. 117 was lace. The only thing it was kind of far for me because I was in Bed-Stuy at the time. So I was commuting.
Got a lot of Brooklyn barbers coming up to Harlem to get that money, though.
Yeah, crazy, man. Crazy. That was a blessing, man.
Right. So now you have your own shop. Tell me about your shop, where it is, and what inspired you to open up your own shop.
It's in Conyers, Georgia, which is 35 minutes east of Atlanta, up I-20. And I just, I cut at when I first got down there, I cut at a shop called New York Barbershop for like 3 years, and I just was like, I got the opportunity to open my own. The spot opened up. I had the money. I was like, cool, I'm in there. Started buying all the stuff and just put it together. We still growing.
And what's the name of the shop?
Blade Kings Barbershop.
Blade Kings Barbershop.
BladeKingsBarbershop.com.
All right. And I saw that you're an artist as well, correct?
Yeah, I paint,
I saw you did the wall in the shop.
I
real
did the back wall.
abstract.
That
Right.
led to more work.
Wow.
People like, oh, I need you to paint my gym.
It was fire too, man. You did your thing, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
Word.
it.
Word.
So I just got a new job. They want me to paint this whole gym.
Oh.
So I'm gonna lace that when I get back.
See, that people don't understand, like,
Different streams of income.
artists are artists through and through. Like, I used to paint, do all the characters on the pants when I was young, cut hair, do music, like, you find that with barbers that they have.
Barbers
other
are
skills.
sculptors.
Yeah. Yes.
If you can blend a fade and make lines, you can basically draw.
Right.
You
right.
know,
and
you
I
sculpting.
actually discovered my drawing talent before the barbering. You know what I'm saying?
Me
so
too.
When you could draw and paint and do lines, you transfer that into
Yeah.
barbering.
And I feel like barbering is one of the silent elements of hip hop. It's part of the fashion.
No question.
You know what I mean? Because Hot Top Fade, Kane Fade was
Right.
that was part of his image.
Right.
You can't say that wasn't a silent element of hip hop because people they took to how you look and how you fade and your lineup and
It comes synonymous with your style. And with the way you wear your hair is synonymous with your style. To Bobby Brown and the Gumby, to Kane and High Top Fade. People used to come in the shop and said, I want my hair like Big Daddy Kane.
Yo, listen, I was hyped when I seen you had Schoolboy hair.
Oh yeah,
I was
would
hyped.
get him down here.
Listen,
Yeah.
I got that picture in my barbershop
Right.
because that was like the epitome to me. He ain't had no shirt on.
Right.
He give him the lineup. It was
Right
fresh.
before the show.
Yeah, like, yo, I need the Big Daddy Kane parts. Like that, yeah. Pull that. You know what I mean? Got that in the shop.
So, what's coming up in the future for Shabaam Sahdeeq?
Well, I'm still releasing music. I try to release, at least one project every year.
Independently, or are you gonna do it with a label?
Independently. I mean, right now, the way the internet is set up, you don't really need no label. If you got the money, yeah. If you want to do hard copies, you press it up yourself. You move it. There's plenty of distributors out there to mess with. CD Baby, Traffic, all these distributors, and you just get it to them. You just got to put that extra work in. You got to be at the mailing stuff out. You got to be at the post office.
Yeah. What
That's
advice would you get for young guys trying to get into the business right now?
I would say do as much as you can by yourself before you mess with anybody. Because there's so much things that you could do with no money. I think you should exhaust all those things before you sign anything or take any money from anybody. Unless they're going to come out the gate like, oh, take this $2 million. You know what I mean?
Right.
But most of the time that come with stipulations and you don't own nothing and, you know what I'm saying? Look how Nipsey was doing it. He was doing it. He was a young entrepreneur, man. He had the whole strip mall. You know what I mean? And he owned all his music.
Right, and in this day and age, the way you can go direct to your consumer
It's so
You
crazy.
know, I wish we would had that opportunity
Man.
when we were doing it.
See, I'm kind of like, I landed in both eras. I was in the 90s era where you didn't know who your fans were. The label was in control of that. Now, when I came home from jail, it was like, oh, MySpace. People hit me up on MySpace from Germany, like, yo, I love your single. I'm like, oh, word. I'm trying to come out there. It was good. So that's how the tours open up.
Yeah.
We book whole tours off of Facebook and Instagram.
Wow. I guess I got to get a Ziggy page up.
Yeah, that's for real. Ziggy is legendary. People gonna be hitting that page. Oh, I remember that single. Oh, I got that 12-inch vinyl.
Right. Prince has been out in Japan killing it, man. Definitely been throwing that up in the dance competitions and all that.
Killing it. I be seeing the videos. Shout out to Prince.
Yeah.
2 L's.
Shout out to my brother.
Yeah.
Back on the barber side, how many chairs you got? How many barbers you got in there?
Well, I got 6 chairs. It's 2 barbers right now, and I got a hairstylist that does dreads. So I'm trying to fill up the other chairs soon. I just don't want to stick nobody in there that I don't gel with. It's been too many barbershops that I've been, and I don't gel with the barbers, or they got crazy ways. So
chemistry is important.
It's super important. To keep the vibe in the shop up, Mm-hmm. I don't want no dickheads, right?
And being that you travel all over the world, you done music, you met all kind of people, you have a more roundabout way of dealing with things, because you've probably seen all types of things, being that you've traveled, you've done music, you're doing hair, you attach yourself.
I'm a people person, yeah. I'm a people person. I kind of could sense some energy, certain energies before I even get to talk to them. When they walk through the door, I'm like, oh, all right, I see what kind of dude that is,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pass him to the next part.
Yeah. Yo, take care.
He got you.
Nah, but for the most part, everybody that been coming to the shop, it's been all love, I moved to Atlanta. I built my clientele in like 3 years. I got a good amount of people coming through, and word of mouth gets around. And not for nothing, those Facebook ads, those Instagram ads, they work. Because, I make a little video of all the cuts, people cutting. I press promote. I put a little $50 on it.
Right.
You could put the age that you want to.
Demographic.
You could put the area, the 30-mile radius of the address, and it works. People like, oh, I seen it on Instagram.
Yeah.
The hashtags work too.
Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Well, the barber Instagram is Blade Kings BS for barbershop. Blade Kings BS. And my personal one is Shabaam Sahdeeq. That's ShabaamSahdeeq. That's my personal joint.
All right. Anybody that on the music side that you want to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
I mean, it's my list. My wish list is long.
Top
For
5.
real. But top 5, I would say Ghostface, Nas, Black Thought, Inspector Deck, Common. That's my top 5 wish list.
What's your top 5 on the haircuts? Who would you like to cut?
All of them. All of them right there.
On both sides.
You know what I mean? All of them right there.
Right.
For real.
So tonight, where's the show tonight?
The show was at Mercury Lounge. Yeah.
Lyricist Lounge reunion.
Yeah.
And what are you going to perform tonight?
I'm going to perform a couple new joints. Like, we got an EP called Recognize Your Power, me, Edo G, and this producer named Focus. You know what I mean? So I'm going to perform a couple joints off of that. I had a release last year called Timeless of the collection. I'm going to do like a joint or 2 off of that. And then I'm going to do some of the old Rawkus joints. I mean, because it is the reunion, so I might do the joints I did with Smith & Wesson.
Right. Dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
I was telling you that story.
Yeah, tell me about that.
I mean, my first or second show with Lyricist Lounge was at Wetlands. You know what I mean? And then I was waiting to perform, and the dude before me was on stage, and he got booed, like on some Apollo, like boo. So my heart was pumping. I was like, oh, I gotta kill it. And at that time, Smith and Wesson was dancing on stage. When he got booed, they was like, poi poi. They was like, oh, this next artist better be hot. He better be hot. So they put the pressure on me. So I went up there and I killed it. So that was like my first or second show with Lyricist Lounge, and I did pretty good.
Nice.
And I think that night, the Outsiders brought Eminem on stage in New York for the first time. Wow. Yeah. So that's kind of like both those records, Sound Bomber 1 and Sound Bomber 2, came out of those shows.
Right. Shout out to Ant and Danny.
Word. Mm-hmm. What it's like, 25 years?
Something like that.
Yeah.
They was also, family jiggy.
Yeah.
For real.
For real.
All right, man. Tell people how to get in contact with you.
ShabaamSahdeeq.com, with the hyphen in the middle, Shabaam-Sahdeeq.com, Blade Kings Barbershop.com. And then the same thing for Twitter. Like, I keep everything uniform because it don't make sense to have different names for different stuff and people can't find you. So if you put in Shabaam Sahdeeq, you almost can find me on any platform. You know what I mean? Google me. It's all gonna pop up. My website, everything. Matter of fact, if you go to my website, it's, if you navigate, you can find all my social networks on my website.
Right.
You know what I mean? The only one I don't have up there is Blade Kings Barbershop. It has its own website. Yeah.
So after tonight's show, what else you got lined up?
Barbershop. Straight barbershop. I'm gonna get that money.
I'm backing money on two sides. You know what I'm saying?
I'm backing that barbershop. You know what I mean? Saturday, I got a few clients. You know what I mean? Getting everybody ready for Mother's Day. People's going to visit their moms. Right. I got a new album dropping in June with J57. Concept album called Precious Stones, and I'm trying to put together an art show for June. Where I'm gonna display a lot of my art.
I was with Jazzy Joyce today, and she does that type of abstract art too. And she did an art show not too long ago.
And it was successful, right?
Yes, it was.
I had a few. I did a few in New York. Before I moved, I did a nice big one. And I always sell like 3 or 4 pieces at my shows.
I definitely want to be there.
Yeah. I went to the Compound last night, which they told me is, I found out later that it's Mos Def's brainchild. Like, he put that together. So it was pretty dope. I was in there last night.
Wow.
All these things connect, man. It's the elements of hip hop, art, you know what I mean? Fashion, lyricism, DJing. You smash them all together.
That's right.
My ultimate dream is to have like a warehouse and have like barbers in there cutting, have art displayed on the wall, people performing. That'll be official,
Just close the bar.
That's it. Merch everywhere. Hats, shirts, all that. Yeah.
That's dope.
So,
all right, brother. Thanks for stopping by.
I got a bag of merch. I'm going to be in there tonight. Yo, CDs, T-shirts, hats, all that.
You got to, man. You got to own your own, man.
Yeah.
For sure. Thanks for stopping by, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Success, man. Levels family.
Yes. I be telling people, man, Levels. They be like, oh, word. Like, yeah.
In closing, love is love. Life is life. Loyalty is priceless.
2 L's up.